Believe it or not, Dead by Daylight reveals some surprising truths about how we deal with everyday stressors. Today, I'm diving deeper into the psychological themes that emerge from this thrilling, asynchronous multiplayer survival horror game. So find a locker to hide in for a few minutes, and let's review our perks. Because by the end of this video, you might just see your everyday challenges in a much brighter light. In Dead by Daylight, the metaphor of survivors and killers resonates deeply with aspects of mental health, illustrating the struggles and triumphs individuals face in real life. Survivors embody resilience and the drive to overcome adversity, working to repair the generators and escape from dangers. On the flip side, killers represent the fears, anxieties, and often overwhelming obstacles that people encounter in their lives. The dynamic between the two roles highlights how facing fears head-on leads to personal growth, but it also reminds us of the psychological toll that stressors can have if we face them repeatedly. By navigating this survival horror, players unconsciously reflect on their coping mechanisms and the equilibrium between vulnerability and strength, potentially gaining insights into their own mental health journeys while they play. The choice between playing as a survivor or a killer in Dead by Daylight can reveal intriguing insights about a player's personality and preferences. Players who gravitate towards the survivor role may value teamwork and community, as these characters rely on collaboration and mutual support to evade danger and achieve their objectives. Conversely, those who enjoy taking on the role of the killer may be drawn to a more assertive approach, relishing the thrill of power and strategy that comes with pursuing the survivors. This inclination might reflect qualities such as confidence, competitiveness, or a fascination with psychological tactics, illustrating a different side of the gaming experience that emphasizes control and mastery over fear. Ultimately, this choice offers a glimpse into players' coping styles and preferences in how they handle stress, whether through collaboration or individual dominance. So, the characters in Dead by Daylight become the tools a person will use to master their anxiety. So the first major stop on this discussion today is going to be the concept of survival and escape. In Dead by Daylight, every match is a lesson in staying calm under pressure and making strategic decisions. Escape is understood as getting away from a threatening situation that you are actually in. This is impressive because you did go through the tough situation and you lived to tell the tale. That doesn't mean the situations that we aim to escape from are easy. If we have to do it again too soon, then hopefully we've learned from our past so that each time we go in, we're better equipped to handle the struggles, and then we can get out when we hit the point of being overwhelmed. It's not noble to exhaust ourselves to the point of extinction. And by the way, I'm talking about life right now, not Dead by Daylight. But Dead by Daylight teaches these lessons exceptionally. We have to be able to keep going through the match and through life. This is why it is so important to pick our spots and know when the time to leave is approaching. Our awareness of the decision-making processes that happen for us in the game mirrors our real-life situations. Whether it's a stressful work environment or a personal challenge, knowing when to act and when to stay put can make all the difference in the outcome. The irony of this discussion is that escape is often seen as a potentially harmful response to our surroundings. If we need to flee from our actual life into an alternate virtual setting too often, we can become disconnected from the things in the environment that actually matter to us. This is why communication and support from others are so important. So that way, we are able to keep those connections strong and manage our situations more effectively. Moving back to the metaphor of Dead by Daylight, the killers are not playing a game to be supportive of their prey. Sometimes it happens, and all of you are saints if you play that way, but the majority are out to get us. So in situations where the world cannot be changed to a more harmonious understanding, we may have to ask ourselves tough questions like, do I belong here? Or will I ever thrive in this environment? If the answers to those questions are no, then the survivors in Dead by Daylight are giving us an excellent example, because we need to fix those generators, unlock the metaphorical big metal door, and run away to live our lives somewhere else. Again, metaphorically, but maybe literally, depending on your life situation. Avoidance and hiding are key tactics in the game as well. Finding the right hiding spots and knowing when to avoid confrontation can be the difference between life and death. Avoiding our pursuers isn't just a survival tactic in Dead by Daylight, it's a vital skill that we should aim to replicate in our daily lives. In both gaming and reality, there are moments when stepping back and choosing peace over conflict can significantly enhance our mental well-being. Just like the survivors navigate the map to identify safe spots, we can also cultivate environments that foster tranquility and safety, allowing us to recharge and reflect, take the time that we need for self-care, and then we're able to get back into the high-stress situations when it is not time to hide. If we embrace these strategies, this will not only help us avoid potential harm to ourselves, but also nurtures our overall resilience. It prepares us to be more constructive in our engagements in the future. Avoidance is not often discussed in mental health settings as a positive choice, but this is one of the misconceptions that led to the creation of this Dead by Daylight talk. The concept of avoidance means we know something is going to decimate us to the point where we cannot handle it, so we choose not to engage with it for that period of time. Survivors cannot do hardly anything offensively to the killers beyond dropping a pallet on them or shining a flashlight in their eyes. If those are not options, the survivor has to avoid them and has to run away successfully during their chases. There's a difference between being smart in a tough situation and completely disregarding the entire situation every day. For the most important things in life, we have to show up, do our best, and be ready to make the smartest, toughest choices as often as the world calls us to. At best, DBD is a powerful example of how to see this difference in a game where we are actively choosing to play. Just like identifying a killer's approach in the game helps us to understand their toxicity and gives us the information we need to make those good choices, that is what we need to bring into our real life form of existence. When we notice these negative patterns that could hurt us, this is a form of negative feedback. We can see this in unfortunate relationships with colleagues, friendships that are one-sided, or environments that foster stress instead of support. Acknowledging these red flags empowers us to make informed decisions about whether to engage, evaluate, or step back. When we navigate those challenging relationships, we adopt strategies that will serve us, just like when survivors make the right choices. These are things like setting boundaries, prioritizing our own needs, making time for self-care, and choosing when and how to interact. For instance, if you find yourself in a workplace, classroom, or home environment filled with constant criticism, it might be necessary to limit your exposure to certain people or redefine your boundaries for engagement with them. Just as survivors need to rely on patience, teamwork, and strategy to outsmart the killer, we also can lean on our support networks and seek out spaces that uplift us. By consciously curating our social surroundings, we create a mental map of safety that allows us to thrive rather than merely survive. And this enhances our resilience and overall happiness. Remember, avoiding toxicity isn't a sign of weakness, it's an act of self-preservation. If we hope to enjoy our time in the threatening maps of Dead by Daylight, we also have to learn to embrace our survivor instincts in both gaming and life, and we do that by making choices that protect our health, both in our slash marks and in our psyche. The final stop in this conversation today is going to be about coping mechanisms. In Dead by Daylight, the fear and stress of being hunted is overwhelming, but the game also teaches us how to cope with these feelings through teamwork, planning, and resilience. Most mental health lessons gravitate around the idea of mastering our coping skills to get us through tough situations. These can be mind-clearing skills, mindfulness meditation, breathing exercises, journaling, and many other things. Coping helps us to restore our energy and get ready to exert ourselves in the next situation when we need to. Coping is not a solution, though, as much as it is a simple reality of life. We're not infinite beings, and so we have to manage our energies the best we can so that we can be ready for the situations that need us to be at our best. Coping also means there is something about the surrounding environment that depletes our energy level, our comfort, and our ability to keep going. If this struggle is too aggressive, a change has to happen. It's up to each person to seek out the areas in life that make them feel completely alive, which often happens when we are able to pursue our purpose in some form or another. This is why it is important to find a balance between our skills, our challenges, and our interests, so we can experience a concept known as flow while we thrive in our daily lives. Coping is actually a guiding element from our experience of struggles in life while we gain the mastery to handle tough situations in the future. This is why we heal and then we get ready to run. Back and forth, over and over, keeping our character moving throughout the map. Setbacks are also an inevitable part of life, much like the frequent chase encounters with the killers in Dead by Daylight. Just as survivors often find themselves injured and in need of a med kit to restore their health, we also have to ask ourselves, how are we going to heal when we're constantly facing adversity? Finding our own safe spaces, whether it's a supportive friend who can heal us, a quiet moment of reflection to hide, or engaging in hobbies that rejuvenate us, these are all essential for recovery. These safe havens enable us to regain our strength and perspective. They help us navigate through challenging circumstances with renewed resilience, and embracing the healing process allows us to bounce back, become ready to tackle whatever comes our way, and it gives us the life lessons from our experiences so that we can have a more balanced approach in our future challenges. These coping skills are all invaluable in our own lives, and we can learn them while we're playing Dead by Daylight. Whether it's leaning on friends and family for support, or developing a solid plan to tackle our challenges and take care of ourselves, Dead by Daylight offers a fantastic metaphor for empowerment and personal growth. So the next time you play Dead by Daylight, remember that it's not just a game. It's a powerful tool for learning about survival, escape, avoidance, and coping, skills that are all essential in both the game and in the mental health journey of real life. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join our channel memberships to continue exploring the value of life lessons we find in video games. Hit that notification bell so you never have to miss an update. And thank you so much for watching. Happy gaming. And as always, continue the journey.